Welcome back to the countdown to the best in horror since October of last year. It's the best in horror 2020-2021. I'm ML Miller. Sometimes all it takes is a fresh pair of eyes to take on a seemingly stale genre to make it feel like something new. Here are two new films, one a giallo, the other a backwoods slasher, that take old tropes and makes them entertaining for modern times. This is ML Miller Frights' Best in Horror Countdown 2020-2021. Number 20. Coming in at number 20 is The Last Matinee, aka Red Screening. It was released August 24th, 2021. It's available on demand and digital download from Dark Star Pictures. It's directed by Maximiliano Contenti and written by Maximiliano Contenti and Manuel Facal. Ricardo Islas plays a black-gloved killer in a trench coat carting around a jar full of floating eyeballs who walks into a theater and silently kills the audience members one by one as they watch the horror film playing in front of them. It's up to Anna, the daughter of the theater owner, played by Luciana Grasso, and a few surviving patrons to take on the killer as they find themselves locked inside the theater. It's a pretty simple plot. Kids are locked inside a theater with a killer. The Last Matinee, also known as Red Screening, a title I like a whole lot more, turns out to be the perfect mix of modern-day aesthetic with classic gialli of the past. Sure, there are obvious odes to Argento with posters of opera and other famous giallos lining the hallways, but it's the way they insert the black-gloved killer into the situation with no real explanation as to what drove the guy nuts that makes this one work so well. It's a random theater the killer has picked. The maniac has no idea who these people are, and because there's no personal connection with his victims, for me it makes it all more terrifying. While there's no presence of the police, which was often a mainstay in giallo films, the look and feel of the slasher and his barbarous red wake he leaves behind more than makes up for it. In many ways, The Last Matinee is as in the moment as it comes, with people tentatively returning to theaters after the pandemic. No one knows if there's a silent killer roaming around the theater in the form of COVID, making everyone look over their shoulders and hesitant once the lights go down. The Last Matinee just puts that virus in all black and gives him a jar of eyeballs for shits and giggles. The Last Matinee is a brutally gory film. These kills look to be all practical effects, and they are deliciously splattery, with the killer using an arsenal of weapons on the non-suspecting viewers. The killer is abrupt and kills quick, springing up from the empty seats behind them and doling out the death. There's even a decently high body count as the killer makes his way down the theater rows. The side stories of some of the most annoying theatergoers you're going to find are equally fun, distracting you long enough to lull you into a false sense of security before the bleeding starts. There are smokers, drunks, homeless loonies, children left unattended, and people doing everything but watching the film play out. If you love going to the theater but hate the fact that you have to share it with people with no courtesy for others, this will definitely be a cathartic one for you. I also love that The Last Matinee chose to play an obscure film from 2012 called Frankenstein: Day of the Beast as its feature in the theater. I was wondering why this was, as this is not a well-known film, but with a little digging I found out that Ricardo Islas, who plays the killer in The Last Matinee, is actually the director of Frankenstein: Day of the Beast. While it's very low budget, Frankenstein: Day of the Beast is worth checking out as it's a unique take on the Mary Shelley classic. There's plenty of gore, mystery, cat and mousery, moments both humorous and chilling to be had with The Last Matinee. Expect vivid colors and luscious slow-mo sequences that celebrate the terror and action of the moment masterfully. This is simply a well-crafted horror film that deserves more eyes on it. Get it? Eyes. The killer collects eyes. Everyone's a critic. It captures that feeling of watching a lost horror film as it unapologetically dives into the madness and mayhem and doesn't attempt to be anything else than what it is. What it is one of the best modern giallis you're bound to see. Today's bonus review is Butchers, released January 15th, 2021. It's available on demand and digital download from Blue Fox Entertainment. It's also available for streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi. It's directed by Adrian Langley and written by Adrian Langley and Daniel Weissenberger. A group of kids have a breakdown in the middle of nowhere, USA, and run afoul of a family of evil hillbillies who may or may not be cannibals. This is not a totally original synopsis, but sometimes good things come in simple packages. While it lacks the flash and bang of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Wrong Turn flick, filmmaker Adrian Langley with his co-writer Daniel Weissenberger deliver one of the more potent and twisted little backwoods hillbilly horror films you're going to find. The characters of this cat and mouse shocker may be running around here and there and everywhere, but the key to the success of this film is in its simplicity. It's not trying to be something bigger than it is. It's just a small group of kids running into a handful of evil men, and the men trying to herd all of these cats while the kids desperately try to escape. The action is brisk, the pace is ever moving, and the brutality is hard hitting. While these man monsters may not wear masks of flesh or rely on elaborate forest traps, they are portrayed by talented people who are able to convey a real sense of danger, unpredictability, and utter carelessness towards human life. Maybe they're cannibals, maybe not. They seem to go by the model of waste not, want not, but at one point, one of them says that what they're doing is not as simple as mere cannibalism. Their motivations really are not particularly clear. Everything seems to be happening in the moment, with their intentions vague, which makes these monsters all the more terrifying. Simon Phillips, who played the evil Santa in Once Upon a Time at Christmas, and the trigger-happy thug in Gehenna, Where Death Lives, plays Owen, the leader of this group of madmen. His is a powerful performance, reliant on a simmering anger that is on the crux of boiling over. When he does boil over, it's a showstopper, and people listen. Phillips gives a subtle and hard-nosed performance that is better than what a film of this kind usually possesses. Michael Swatton also delivers a strong play as Oswald, Owen's brother, who is dim-witted but sick of being mistreated by everyone. The way he lashes out to try to prove his wits and power is, again, an attention to character that you most likely are not going to see in a hillbilly cannibal film, making it all the more interesting and entertaining. All around, this is a well-acted film, with people acting and reacting smartly, rather than the usual brainless running about. Actresses Julie Mainville and Anne Caroline Bennett also show up with some convincing and strong roles as two victims who never stop fighting back against these monsters. Butchers impressed the hell out of me, and while the film doesn't really have a lot of flourish, it does deliver strong characters, a powerful sense of action and shock, as well as a horrifying sense of dread from beginning to end, focusing on the senselessness, unpredictability of violence in strange and uncharted places. This is simple, unflinching, and brutal horror at its very best. Come back tomorrow for the next installment to the Best in Horror Countdown 2021. If you hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below, you're sure never to miss it. See you then.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're